to Saxthorpe Farms and picked up, or I'm about to pick up, a cultivating contract. So field 24 and pays nearly 18 grand. I already have auto drive set up for this, so I'm just going to set course play and auto drive up. It will go off, do the contract, and then we'll bring the tractor back. Because I still need to finish rolling the field we planted last time, which is going to be part of our main job for today. So the map has released on ModHub now. So far, it is just the crossplay version. I think the only difference is multi-terrain angle, I think. So if you want to play it on PC, grab it anyway. And there are some people having issues on, I think, Xbox. I think it's only Xbox. It's all versions of Xbox. Some combinations of mods seem to stop the map loading. Precision farming seems to be a big culprit. So if you're having issues, a couple of things that I would suggest. First one, try disabling precision farming, and maybe in both of these cases you might be able to add the mods back. So the first thing I would try is disable precision farming. The second one I would try is just create a save with the map and the required mods, get the save created, and then add mods back in. And the same with precision farming. If you once you get the save created, then try adding precision farming. Been chatting with Farms in Briscoe and on his Discord, and there's nothing obvious as to why it won't work on. It's not even a particular type of Xbox, it's all types of Xbox, and some people it works fine, some people it doesn't work at all. So yeah, if you're one of the people that are struggling to get it to load, try with less mods initially, and hopefully it's something that the problem with console issues is, you know, as a modder you can't find out what's wrong. You know, you can't look at a log file to see what's causing the error. So hopefully Giants might be able to spread some light on what's causing the issue. I think it's affecting the rating of the map significantly because people are trying to play it and can't. And rather than trying to find out why, maybe just rating it badly. So yeah, it's a little bit, you know, frustrating. I found it frustrating yesterday as someone trying to help, that there's no obvious reason why it doesn't work. I've tried a few ideas that I could test on PC to see if they were why the map wouldn't load, and they didn't stop it loading. So it seems to be specifically an Xbox thing, but I don't know what's causing it. So hopefully we can get it sorted. The PC version I think should be released very soon as well. Sorry. The PC version should be released very soon as well. I'm surprised that the crossplay version released first, if I'm honest. Yeah, I think the only difference is multi-terrain angle. If you start a save on the crossplay version, you might have to do a bit of work to switch to the PC version, so be aware. It might just be as simple as pointing it at a different map. I'm not sure. So if you're on PC, maybe hang on a day or two to pick up the PC version before you do too much work. Yeah, that's that. I'm back. Ta-da! This is going to be a bit. So I jumped across to the 7230 just to see how everything worked together, and yeah, I used this a little bit on Maple towards the end to get some contracts done, particularly before I switched to having that as multiplayer, and it's a really cool feature. It'd be really nice. I don't know if you can set it to bring it home as well. That'd be kind of fun. So one idea that I've had for a mini-series is like a futuristic farm where I try and automate as much as possible So, you know, the idea being that you've got one person, and it's kind of like how this is happening, and probably end up using the Case autonomous tractor for a lot of it, or editing some vehicles. Basically trying to set it up so that it's, you know, one person is running an entire farm and simulating that effect using auto drive and courseplay. Yeah, so the other thing actually is that the auto drive guy, and I didn't realize there was more than one person that's involved in auto drive guy. Sorry, I had no idea, to be honest. They released a auto drive course for Saxthorpe on the day the map released, so that's really cool. So go grab that if you want it. I did share a link for that yesterday, so yeah. Later in today's video, we are going to be heading to the Oaks as well. So I did say that in this series I might blend in some visits to the Oaks. We'll talk about it a bit more later on, but yeah, it's going to be exploring a bit of Thompson Briscoe's other map. I guess since the last video we've had FarmCon, and I don't feel like there was a huge amount of information released. So there was the horse pack, which has kind of split opinion, I think, because a bunch of people seem to think it's the horse pack that was released as a mod in FS19 and 17, maybe. I don't think it is. For a start, there's a map. I don't know if there was a map in the other. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a map in FS19. And personally, I'd much rather have Giants release the horse pack as part of the season pass than another set of grape tractors, or another set of tiny mowers, or a whole load of the other things that they've done. Another forestry pack, anything like that. It's one of the DLCs I'm excited about. I think it's going to be really cool. So, yep, and that's really good. The other one is we had the mod from Creative Mesh, the emergency services pack, or whatever it's called, and that one's disappointed me a bit. Not the mod, the community. I think so. I'm very unlikely to play with the mod. I have to admit, I was half expecting to see on Monday YouTube full of videos of bales on fire and crashed cars, as everyone jumped on it. I think it's a really clever mod. They've done some really innovative stuff in terms of creating the currently quite small set of custom missions that it comes with. What I'm disappointed with is people's reaction to something that is free, that has not impacted development of the game. So you don't have to download it. I know some of you have to download every single mod that's released. You don't. You don't have to download it. You can completely ignore it exists. You don't have to pay for it. It's free. And it was developed by a modding team, not Giants. So it's not taken away from development of game features or anything like that. So, you know what? If you don't like it, shut up and ignore it. You know? If Creative Mesh chose to make a firefighting addition to Farm Sim, that's fine. If they chose to make a sewing machine addition to Farm Sim, that's fine. I won't use either of them, but it doesn't affect my game at all. So if you don't like it, just ignore it. You know? Simple. Yeah. I think the horseback's going to be really good. It's not that far away either, I don't think. We've also had the Platinum expansion information released, and Giants have released some more information since. So one of the really cool things is that those crops will be available on all maps, or available for modders to add to all maps, which is going to be brilliant. Really excited about that. That should mean really good things for being more creative with animal feeding and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to that a lot. What else did I want to talk about today? So this is going to be a bit of a weird week. I'm planning to stream a lot this week, so keep an eye on Discord, and I'll post links on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, that's the plan. So there'll probably be less normal videos and more different stuff. So yeah. What else? Do you know? I don't have a lot to talk about today, which is not good when I've got a 30-minute video in front of me. So I did have a break over the weekend. Maybe not in the way people think with how I do this. So generally, I don't record at the weekends. I play the game. I record game footage like this, but I don't do the rest of it. And I still didn't this weekend. The difference has been that I wasn't stressing about not having things uploaded, and that's been kind of cool. So I will be slowly getting back into things. There should, I was going to say will, but should be a Terra stream on Thursday. We're mostly chatting rather than playing anything new, because Paul is still rebuilding his computer. So yeah, mostly us chatting about stuff. If you want to learn stuff, then tune in, I guess, because you can learn some stuff. Nearly finished on this field. So I have always been a bit anti-rolling fields, and sometimes I won't do them, sometimes I will. I was watching I'm way behind on my Saska Dutch Kid videos, and I was watching their one on how they do their crop planting. So they grow most of their feed, I think, or a large portion of their feed. And he was talking about the fact that they do roll almost every crop they plant. The only one they don't is canola, I think it was. Canola or soybeans. Because they didn't want to push the seeds too deep into the ground. And the reason that they roll all of their crops is predominantly rocks and stones, it seems. So when they are, so he was talking about peas, I think, and then I think it was wheat, whatever they combine for straw. I was only half listening. And with the peas, they need to harvest them very low to the ground, so you don't want rocks sticking out damaging your harvester. And then the same for their straw crops. Straw is valuable to them, and they want to get as much straw as possible, so they want to harvest as low to the ground as possible, so they roll. Which is interesting and kind of cool. It seems in the real world, a lot of farmers do roll their crops. So I think I've said the local farmer here I've seen out rolling a few times when planting season comes. So, and cow farmer Dan mentioned quite a lot. They roll pretty much all of their crops in, I think. And interestingly, they do a lot of broadcasting their seed. So they don't drill it. They will broadcast it, and then harrow and roll it. So chain harrow, seed harrow, and then roll it to plant it, which is a bit different, I guess. I just watched a video. They were planting stubble turnips, having had a crop of wheat fail because it's been very dry here, and they planted the wheat in May, and it's been so dry all month here, that the crop failed. So they were planting something else in. So they power harrowed in the wheat crop, and then broadcast these turnip seeds, stubble turnips over the top. So be an interesting one to see them grow in the future. But yeah, so more rolling from me when I can. I guess the problem is that, like, sometimes if you plant right at the end of the window, you don't necessarily get time to roll. I've found, like on Glenalvon, where I planted the wheat in, finished planting that in the evening of the last day of November, and then couldn't roll it in. So, but it's fine. It's fine. And I used to approach it in a much more analytical way, because that's how my brain is, and the yield gain from rolling is small. And I used to roll predominantly to remove the needs rolling pop up. But yeah, we are improving ourselves. So going to give everything a quick repair. So have a decent amount of cash in the bank. So we'll get everything repaired, refueled and washed. And then we're going to skip ahead to November, I believe, because there's nothing else to do in October. The contract has a bit of time to go, so I did kind of let that run out as well. And there we go, that's finished. So 18 grand for that, which was pretty nice, and it's now the end of the day as well. So yeah, a nice little earner. There's a bunch of baling contracts, but we don't have any baling equipment yet, so in the future that's going to be another good earner if we haven't already brought those fields. So I'm just having a look around at fields to potentially buy. We don't have enough for most of the fields that I'm interested in. So I think I'm going to hang on and try and earn a bit more cash before we commit to a new field. So it's November now, and our cornfield is not ready to harvest. So we got unlucky in the lottery of growth of fields at the start, and it's the last month that the corn can be harvested, so it's going to wither before it gets harvest ready. If we had a forage harvester, we could forage harvest it, but we don't. I could look at getting a cheap forage harvester, but I'd also need a silage clamp, so I'm going to ignore that at the moment. And we have jumped over. Have I jumped over yet? No, I'm just browsing contracts at the moment. So there is a ploughing. There are some ploughing contracts. We don't have enough horsepower to run the Lemkin, which would be nice. And the plough that I do have doesn't count as ploughing for contracts. So that would be a nice purchase eventually. We could afford to buy one now, but we'd have no money for buying land, and land is more important at the moment. So, but we are going to need to pick up a 9 series at some point, I think, for a bigger horsepower tractor. So instead, we have taken a trip south. It's about 40 minutes or 30 miles, or we are going to take a trip south to the Oaks because they have a whole load of fertilizing jobs available for us. So, in fact, there were a lot of contracts in the Oaks. So I think we're going to spend the rest of November down here. So it's about 30 miles south of Saxthorpe, so it's not an unrealistic distance to travel. So I've picked up a bunch of fertilizing contracts. There were harvesting ones that could have gone for, but I thought fertilizing would be quicker to earn some cash. So we're going to hook up the Breedle, head down to the store and pick up a truck. I did say that if I was going to make this journey, I would be using a truck and a low loader. And to be honest, this tractor could probably do that 30-mile journey in a reasonable amount of time. It's got 50k gearbox. Be alright if we took the other tractor. I think that's got a 60k gearbox, 65. But I do want to pick up a lorry, and so we've got the Flegel low loader, which I plan to use. Might end up having to swap that, you will see in a bit. And in the sales, there happens to be another 7 series, which we don't need. Well, we do, but we don't. A 6 Series, which we do but don't. But also the Volvo truck that I wanted has cropped up in the sales at a decent reduction. So I'm going to buy it. This was kind of what prompted me to... Something weird under my desk. Okay. It's kind of what prompted me to do this is that the truck had come up in the sales and was affordable. So we're going to spend probably about 80 grand on the truck and the low loader to get ourselves over to the Oaks. Longer term, I want to get a grain trailer for the truck as well, because that would be really useful for getting stuff around the map here with doing all the contracts and stuff that we did. So I don't think it's a wasted purchase at all. And one of my favorite low loaders in the game. It's also, I might end up using this to move combines and stuff around the map, because it's going to be much quicker chucking them on the back of the truck that can do 55 versus the combine that can do 20. In theory, obviously it depends how long it takes to load up and unload and all that kind of thing. But certainly if we take the combines down to the Oaks, getting around a 4x map, this would really help. Apart from the fact that the Oaks has lots of overhangs, so it did not crash into their planter. No, not at all. Not. So the night, I think I had this trailer on Greenlands, I think. I'm not sure. Nice thing about this trailer is you can expand it, so you make it nice and wide, so combines fit really easily. But we're going to have a bit of fun now trying to get this rig on the trailer. So I am wondering if I should, you'll see why in a moment, if I should swap the Breedle for a rear 3-point mounted spreader, because we know fit, unless someone knows of a ever so slightly longer low loader that I could swap to. If there is a slightly longer one about, that would be really useful. Because, and the combines will fit, we'll struggle to get the seeder and the tractor on there as well. If we're going to be doing seeding contracts. So, long-term goal here, or long-term thought, while we try and back on and see if that gets us any more room, is once the farm is much bigger, I might set up a satellite down at the Oaks. So there are some small plots of land down there, get a shed in there, and be able to store, if there's kit that we're using down there that we don't need here, store it on there and make use of it that way. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking. The long-term goal, because it's quite a big financial commitment to do that, so we'll see. Or we'll buy a fast track and do an ollie and just drive the fast track between the two. I'd predominantly want to stay Deutz on here. The areas where that won't work are very high horsepower tractors. And so when we're getting big cultivating kit and big plows, I am tempted by something like a quad track, or maybe a T9. I don't think I've ever had a T9. That'll be different, and having a fast carting tractor might be useful. Now I think the 9 series has a 39 mile an hour gearbox in it, so that's an option. So we're loaded up, managed to bump up onto the deck over the fifth wheel. Yeah, I know, shush. It's gonna let us get the truck going. So, and here we are on the Oaks. So I'm unloading at the store, and actually that works well. The map's really well set up, because the Oaks is south of Saxthorpe, and so you would come in near the store, I think. We need to fill up with Fert so we can get going, and then we will tackle a few of these contracts. I'm going to do a couple as part of this video. I'll probably do some off camera. I might stream doing some. They're obviously quite time consuming, so they might not work for streaming, but yeah, we'll see. But I'm going to buy enough Fert to fill or almost fill the spreader so that we don't have to come back too often. What I could do is something to load the bags up onto the back of the lorry. I've just driven past the bags of Fert looking for the bags of Fert. Did you spot that? I didn't on the first lap. Yeah, it would be really handy to have a telehandler, forklift or whatever at the store. Curious if you guys think I should just add one to the store, so a bit like when Larvin's got a forklift at the store, because it would be really handy to be able to use the lorry to refill rather than having to drive back to the store every time. So I did a dumb. I turned up at this field 14. It's a huge field with a withered crop in it. And I was thinking, why do they want me to fertilise this withered, weedy cotton field? So I had flight mode on because I was trying to find where I was going on the map. And I didn't know. I have since added in auto drive network to make life a little bit easier. But yep, I even thought, screw it, this says there's a contract in here. The 14's flashing. And then it's cultivating. Yep, I did a dumb. So we could have brought the cultivator over as well. I could send the truck back and we could have both over here working. I might do that in the next video. So I think my plan is, I think, to spend, there's nothing that, unless I decide to silage the cornfield, there's no work to do on Saxthorpe until spring now, unless contracts crop up. So I might spend a few game days on the Oaks doing some contracts, earning some cash. There's good money to be earned down here, and that means we'll have more cash to spend on fields come spring from Saxthorpe. So, and that was the kind of the plan with this series, was that although the goal is to own the map on Saxthorpe, I want to play a little bit on the Oaks as well, because it's a really nice map and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So this is a way of achieving that. With lots of cultivating, even more fertilizing, some big fertilizing contracts. Obviously we're going to be spending a lot of money on Fert. I'm almost tempted to just buy something to act as a loader tractor down here. Ooh, that little John Deere you shared, Smock. Because that's not that expensive, is it? There's another old tractor actually that I might use instead that's even cheaper. Or now we've got 4 tractors. We could go grab the D60. That's got a loader on it. And we don't need it at the main yard at the moment. I could send a truck back to grab the D60. I might do that, actually. That's more cost effective. And I can do that while I'm doing contracts. That's a better idea. So, almost done with this first contract. This is probably my limit of role playing, saying things like I'll send the truck back to pick up the D60. What it actually means is I'll move the D60 across from the Saxthorpe save to the Oak save, and it will appear at the store. But, you know, we'll do a little bit of suspension of disbelief. A little bit. I don't want to bring too much over, because otherwise we're going to have to do lots of runs with the truck. But if we're going to be here for most of a month, it seems sensible to me. I think it is worth remembering sometimes, because something that I forget, that and I think I said it in a recent video on here, each day of gameplay is essentially 10 days of real time. So doing this kind of thing is not unrealistic. A bit like how I mentioned Ollie Blogs, how he lends his tractor and sometimes trailer to Tom Pemberton for when they do silage work. You know, spending that however long it takes him to drive the tractor down there and get a lift back and whatever is a good, you know, is not a bad use of his time. He's going down to see one of his mates, and the tractor's there for a few days. So yeah, that's first contract done. I'm gonna do a proper job. No, I'm not gonna do a proper job. I'm gonna do a 95% job. Yay me. I'm going to claim them as I go because I have had issues with contracts completing and disappearing between save and reload. So when I finish them, I am going to grab the cash. And I did field 6, but I didn't record any of it and realized I had quite a long video going. So decided to cut it here. I'll do a bunch of work off camera probably and some on stream. We'll see. But yeah, I want to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you all supporting the channel. You guys are all awesome. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. Any comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, stick them below. And if you've watched for the last 30 odd minutes and you're new, maybe you found the channel because of Saxthorpe, then think about subscribing. Turn on notifications. Go back and watch the other 6 videos in this series. Watch some of my other stuff, you know. So I think I'm just going to claim this contract, which was a decent chunk of cash again. Yeah, £53,000. So very nice. That is going to help rather a lot. So we have made 48,000 so far. We've spent a lot on, spent 20 grand on fertilizer and then 68 back in. So yeah, we are making money, which is good. I don't remember what the last thing I'm doing is. I was just showing you all the contracts I've got. Yes, I'm going to work on those. Anyway, I will see you next time.